Breezie, Mo's Nose, Peachy, Fear the Gone.
It's about that time, everybody turn your TVs on. The Mo's Nose, Peachy, Breezie, and Fear the Gone. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you nine to tone. We two gorillas, silverback, nah, silver
You know
hoes.
it's busting the discussion cause we get it in. Every time you know we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win. The faithful going hard. It's WayneBreezie, Peachy, Mo's Nose, and Fear the God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, it's the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. We outline players up in chalk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Line is tall. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall.
49er faithful, what's going on? The Nitty Gritty Niners Talk Show is back. Season 5, live kicking. Peachy, what's going on? Well, to let everybody know where Mo's and Fear is. Hopefully they'll be able to join us a little bit later. Peachy, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. It feels good to be back. Like the 49ers, they're back. We're all the way back here on Nitty Gritty Niners. Ready to kick off season 5.
Wow.
Getting going.
Season 5.
Yep.
I do want to shout out some people before we get to the members. That the chat is popping off right now. I've got like 8,000 messages. But I definitely want to give my brother Donnie a shout out. If guys don't know who Donnie Fortino is, man, make sure you look him up. He is the originator of this Nitty Gritty Niners show. Him and I created this show 5 seasons ago. We came up with the show, the concept. We were gonna bring the nitty gritty side from the East Coast and the West Coast, and that's how we came up with the concept. So I just wanted to show my brother some love. Yes. Shout out to Mose. He had a family emergency. He may be on tonight. Shout out to Fair. He has some family duties. He's gonna try to get on tonight as well. I believe, Peachy, though, that this is gonna be our new slot time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays. I hope that's cool with everybody out there. I know it's cool with Peachy. It's cool with myself. So we're definitely going to be back. Got 49er football. We got, I was about to say spring training because I'm in baseball mode. We got training camp in living color. It is crazy, Peachy. It is crazy. But just really quickly, your thoughts on just the off season before we talk preseason training camp. What's your thoughts on the 49ers off season? If you had to give the off season a grade, what would you give it?
For me, I would give it a B. I felt like that there were some good moves that were made. Lost some people that I wasn't expecting, but it's a business and it happens all the time. I really wish, because we're in a situation that we're in now, that the 49ers had concentrated more on the O-line, but that's just me, because a lot of other people feel like that we take too much stock into the O-line and, it's not whatever. But I don't know. Right now, it's looking like it's a Trentless O-line. So I think that me and a few of my other, 49er faithful might have been right about the 49ers addressing that position a little more in the offseason.
Interesting. Because the question that I ask... I have a question. I got to come back. I got questions,
course,
right?
Go ahead.
How do you address the left tackle position if you have a left tackle? You can't, right? So it's not like the Niners were going to address that position and the rest of the offensive line is intact, literally. So it's not like Trent's injured or anything like that. It's the business part that everybody and their mama hates. I think the football players hate it. They talk about how much they don't like the business aspect. They just want to play football. But there's the business side. And then there's the offensive line that has been made from drafted guys, journeymen, and then Trent Williams. And I think Kyle Shanahan said it best. It's like it's Trent Williams, and then it's a bunch of guys. Right? It's a bunch of guys. But let me ask you this, PG. Like,
What?
If you're paying Trent Williams, you can't pay who okay. if you're paying Trent Williams to sacrifice to pay the offensive line, which is, I think, what most people feel like they want to do. Because I don't think people realize that the offensive line is expensive unless you suck for a long time, you draft very well, and they're all on cheap deals, right? And so, like, to me, that's where it gets a little tricky, because once you got to pay that left tackle position, which is a prime position in football, it makes it a little difficult to keep a stout offensive line together, plus have all these weapons, plus, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I think that's why Kyle Shanahan doesn't invest in the offensive line. It's like, my offense can work if the quarterback gets the ball out of his hand quickly and get it to the playmakers for them to make plays. That's just my theory, my thought. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just feel like I don't think addressing the offensive line is priority for Kyle Shanahan, because he got the piece that he wanted in the trade and getting Trent Williams.
Well,
now
he said as much in the interview that he did for on the T&K show or whatever it's called.
Kawakami?
Said that. Yeah, that's pretty much what he said.
Really?
Is that he doesn't just in layman's terms, doesn't take that much stock into the O-line as the skill players. He thinks that it's more important to invest in better skill players than the O-line. So,
I don't think you like that, though. I feel like
I absolutely do not like that.
Name a team with a stout offensive line other than I can't think of a team that has.
Eagles.
Yeah, but they're all old.
Well, yeah, that's true, but they're.
You get what I'm saying? Like they're old, expiring contracts, and the Eagles' offensive line didn't look good last year.
See, this is my gripe. Okay, not just the fact that Trent and his contract situation, all that guaranteed stuff he's going through now. God forbid something happen. We don't have a plan behind him, and
they got a plan. His name is. You don't like the plan, but they got a plan. Hold on, they got a plan. You don't like it, but they got a plan. They have a plan. Don't say they don't have a plan. They have a plan. His name is Jalen Moore. you might not like it, but they got a plan. Okay?
Okay.
No. I didn't want you to stop talking. I just want you to know that they have a plan.
Right. They do.
I'm not right. It might not be the plan, but it's a plan. You know what I mean? It might not be the plan, but it's a plan. Like, you know what I mean? So they got Jalen Moore, who usually fills in for Trent.
Yeah.
And then we got the other tackle that fills in for Colt McKivitz if anything was to go down. But I get it. If Trent is not there. And let's talk about Trent. Let's talk about Trent Williams. Shout out to all the members of the chat. I tried to highlight your comments. That's me welcoming you. Peachy was in the midst of talking, so hello to everybody. Ear horns to everybody. All right. Let's talk about the Trent Williams situation, Peachy. Let's kick off the show with that. Because it's a situation. How long do you think it's going to last? You know what I mean? Like how long do you think the holdout is going to last?
I think that the 49ers are going to get something accomplished, I would say no later than this Friday.
Ooh.
August
at the way, 2nd.
Yes. I
just want to put the date on
that
there.
This offense is playing right now. Brock barely has any time to throw.
You are so mean.
I'm just telling you. And I get that people throw INTs in practice. Like, I get that. But just watching it, like, he's definitely hurried. And that's not good. And that's because that left side is completely depleted. And we know that means that they're going to attack on the right side, which is, what seems to always be the deal with that is, so you got... All I'm saying is that now you have both the left and right side that are vulnerable. Whereas before,
no.
you have the left side,
the whole damn offensive line is vulnerable.
Right.
I didn't say that we didn't have anything to worry about. I said we had a plan. It's a big difference. Will the plan work? Okay, because look at it like this. Look at the offensive line, right?
Right.
Probably the weakest link, especially with Trent Williams not being there. And then with Trent Williams being there is still probably the weakest link on the team, right? When you look at the offensive line, It's Trent Williams. Aaron Banks is in a contract season. Jake Brendel, whatever. Spencer Burford is dealing with the injury. We'll talk about that.
Yep.
You got the rookie Dominic Big Pun Pooney coming in there.
Mm-hmm.
John Feliciano's dealing with the injury. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And then you got, Cole McKivitz, who wasn't good last year. So I never said I wasn't going to worry. I just said that there's a plan. That's the plan. I didn't say it was a good plan, but it's a plan. To be fair and honest with everybody out there, that's your backup plan. That's why they're the backups, right? So the goal is to get Trent Williams signed.
Yes.
And then you worry less.
Right. You definitely do. So to me that right there is priority number one. You just get it done. I just have a feeling that Friday the 2nd is what date that I have. And I feel like that is that's a good time for contracts.
I hope so. I'm
Because,
gonna go with Monday.
Okay.
Because Trent's a weekend guy.
Okay.
And it'll probably get done on the weekend, and he'll fly out on Monday. That. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And believe it or not, Trent's a media guy too. When it comes to contract situations, he'll be out there in the media. So you going with Friday? I'm gonna go with Monday, and we'll leave it at that. I think the holdout ends starting this weekend.
Yes.
The end to the holdout. We're going to put that out there. We're going to put that up there. We definitely got to shout out Jax, 49ers girl Knox. She's been a member for 18 months under the throwback Breezie Bunch crew membership on here, YouTube. Thank you, Jax. And then she just super chat contributed to the show. She says, I'm glad the season is back. I'm tired of B.A. contracts, LOL. The season is here, so let's see how things go. Well, let's talk about B.A. because we're going to be talking about B.A. until, he's signed. And
until the contract gets done.
Until the contract gets agreed upon. So let's talk about the hold in with Brandon Aiyuk. Peachy, Jax, thank you for the super chat contribution. Peachy, let's talk about the hold in. I want your thoughts raw about Brandon Aiyuk right now. Mark, get set, go.
I feel that Brandon Aiyuk's contract is wrapped up into Trent's contract. And I think that once Trent's contract is done and the money is restructured and set aside and fixed, whatever, that's when Aiyuk's going to get paid. What makes me nervous is CeeDee Lamb is about to get paid.
I don't know why that's just make every wide receiver in the NFL when they get a contract is going to make me nervous. Because it's going to only worsen to me the situation for Brandon Aiyuk, especially those that are the top tier guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if he's looking at a $34 million per year contract, which would put him above or below Justin Jefferson, I can't remember.
Below.
Right below though.
Justin Jefferson's 35. Yeah.
Okay, so right
below him.
It's perfect. It's exactly what we think it is. It's Justin, and that's how you're ranking them. It's Justin Jefferson, it's CeeDee Lamb, and then it's whoever you want to put three, whether it's Tyreek Hill or Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm talking about as far as players, not the contract, but I think Amon-Ra would be 3, and then so forth and so forth. We'll look that up. But you know what pisses me off about the 49ers? They're just on their own time. They got their own clock. Yeah. They don't give a. They really don't care. They don't. We care because all we're seeing is stuff getting pushed up and the market going up.
Yep.
And as the market finally quieted down, you know what I mean? Like, oh, now's the time to slip into BA. Now, here come the Dallas Cowboys. This is all calculated. I promise. All calculated. Like. For Brandon Aiyuk to hold in, I don't have a problem with it. I'm actually glad he's at camp. You can't use the excuse he's there because he doesn't want to get fined.
Right.
Only because if he did choose to not be there, the 49ers can forgive his fines for missing camp. So you can't really say that because he's under that rookie contract.
That's right.
Per
He
the
sure
CBA.
is.
So those $40,000 a day hits, the Niners will make that up just like they did with Nick Bosa.
True.
You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day,
I forgot about that.
That you can't really say. That's why he's there, because he wants to be there. He's there because he is a part of this team. He's just not going to practice on the football field until there's security and guarantees in his contract.
Yep.
So there's the hold in. And so when you look at the hold in, Peach, it's like, all right, man, I know he's under contract for $14.1 million. All of that's fully guaranteed, injury or not. That's what he gets this year. But Peachy, that does not put Aiyuk in the top 10 category of wide receivers, especially when you're talking about paying these guys. So I'm telling you right now, Mike and I talked about it on the B.A.M show earlier today. Make sure you guys check out that episode, the B.A.M show. We briefly touched it at the very end of the show, so I think you can skip to the end. PG, if Jalen Waddle wasn't making 28.42 million, he's making 28 something million.
He is literally the one that, well, not him, but Miami is what threw this whole thing out of whack in the first place.
Bingo.
Is by paying him that.
And you know why? It's because on the Dolphins, he's a tier 2 receiver.
Exactly.
It's Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
Then it's Jalen Waddle. And that's right there. So to pay a number 2 receiver $28.5 million a year, it kind of changes up what's going on. So look, Aiyuk's holding in. I don't see it as a big deal. Big deal or no big deal for you, Peach? Like, how you feel about it?
I don't think it's a big deal. Aiyuk is not just at camp. Like, he's literally communicating and talking to everyone. And he was talking to Lynch, just like the last one, Gore today. I mean, all these different ones. So he's definitely, engrossed in like what's going on. Like he's very much a part of it. He's just not practicing. So I feel it's no big deal at this point. I still feel like that the 49ers are finagling this thing between Trent and him. And I think that once Trent gets paid, I think Aiyuk will be right behind him.
So the good news, if Trent gets an extension, the good news is that his extension will lessen the hit on the cap this year, right? So to go from 31 to maybe 21, that's $10 million, which frees up. And then if you do an extension for Brandon Aiyuk, that 14.1 will lessen to probably 7 or 8, maybe 6, 7 or 8. So it just reduces the cap hit for this year. So the Niners will still have some money to play around with. God forbid something happened, and things like that. So these are all win-win situations for the 49ers, right? Like, it lessens the cap, it frees up money, and they can still do both. The question is, we don't really know what the hell Trent is asking for.
Right.
We kind of know what Brandon Aiyuk is asking for, and I think that's the difference. There's your holdout. There's your hold in. Let's get to let's get to some 49ers news. We got some players that are big. You know what? Madden ranked Brandon Aiyuk number 9 overall receiver. It rated him a 91. I know it's a video game, but even Madden has Aiyuk as a top 10 receiver.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even Madden has him as a top 10 receiver. Let's talk about what's going on with the Niners. Also, Talanoa Hufanga. A lot of people want to know what's going to happen with Drake Jackson. We got to talk about the injury report. So, listen, Drake Jackson is not going to practice for training camp. He's not going to participate in anything per Kyle Shanahan. Let's talk a little bit about Drake Jackson, Peachy. A lot of fans feel like, is he going to get the Jalen Hurd treatment? Is that the scarlet letter we're putting on?
That's what it seems like.
Drake Jackson?
That's what it seems like, though.
I mean, can't be, right?
That's what it definitely seems like, though.
I mean, like, what do you think? Like, is he getting that?
That's what's coming.
Does he? Let me ask you, does he deserve to get that treatment?
mean, yeah, kind of. I hate to say, I love this kid.
These
but,
are guys that
man,
can't get their bodies right.
Yes, they just can't get right. They're in the can't get right group. Can't get right.
Now, I do want to put out this disclaimer. He's not injured. He's recovering from his surgery.
Yes.
So it's not like he went out there, he got re-injured. He's actually recovering from his surgery. But Peachy, I'm looking at my list, all right? I'm going to read you these names. Okay? You dig? All right, here we go. I'm just going to go off of the guys that I feel like are the edge guys, which is where he will play. It's Nick Bosa, it's Leonard Floyd, it's Yetur Gross-Matos, it's Robert Bill Jr., it's Alex Barrett, Austin Bryant, Sam Okwayenu, right? Oh yeah, I think I said it right. And then there's Drake Jackson. And so I just don't see him beating out Leonard Floyd, beating out Gross-Matos. And I think Robert Bill Jr. is leaping forward big time. Now, he has a shot against Alex Barrett, Austin Bryant, and maybe Sam Okwayenu. Like, what are your thoughts? We got 8 edge rushers, and right now there's currently 7 that are practicing. We got Fear in the building. Fear to God is in the building. What's going on, baby?
Welcome back, bro.
What's good? How y'all feeling?
Good, man. Welcome back. Season 5 in full effect, man.
Yes.
Full effect. Peachy's talking about Drake Jackson and his status. He's currently on the PUP.
Yep.
And he's probably going to start the season on the PUP. And that means that he will not be eligible to return for after the first 4 games. And so that's what that means, which is good because the Niners can add another player to the 53-man roster, and he won't count against the roster spot. So if players begin the season on the PUP, they do not take up a roster spot per the CBA. So that's pretty cool.
That's nice.
Pretty cool. So what are your thoughts on Drake Jackson?
Yep.
Me?
Yeah, like how you know?
I mean, underwhelmed so far. Big expectations still, I feel like, but at this point, this is one of those like make it or break it seasons to me where he's gonna have to put up, or somebody might be coming in to take that spot.
Technically, you got one more season.
Yeah. Of course. He's still technically with us, but if someone's outperforming him this training camp, obviously he's not in there to be able to like do what he has to do and show for now. But once his time comes and he's back to being able to get right, like he gotta go crazy. This might be his last year with us.
See, I wouldn't be surprised, Peachy and Fair, if Kyle Shanahan milks this injury to the extent. He tends to do that and stashes him for one more season. Some of these guys we got on 1-year contracts, right? And then get him in a healthy camp. And for the Niners, unless he goes out there his contract season and gets you 19.5 Aldon Smith type style stacks, right? Unless he's getting numbers like that, I mean, he's not going to cost you a bunch of money. And you could get a 2nd-round draft pick probably to take a great hometown discount with the team moving forward. And then he ends up like one of those free agents we kind of like sign from other teams that don't get paid much for a 1-year, 2-year deal. So I feel like that's kind of where the Niners, that's kind of what they doing.
That's the bread and butter, right?
That's the Kyle Shanahan.
Or is that the Koceric special? Right. Is that not? That's not.
I don't know.
Wave.
I don't know if Koceric would stash players. I think Kyle goes to Koceric and say, hey, he goes to every coach.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And says, all right, give me your stash guys.
Yep.
Because Bobby Turner's got to find a way to stash Isaac Guerrero, who we'll talk about next. He's dealing with the long-term hamstring injury. Mm-hmm. They drafted him with a hamstring injury history, right? And he gets one of the worst hamstring injuries in training camp. And this is like maybe a grade 2, grade 3, where Kyle Shanahan said he's going to be out for several weeks.
Right.
Do you start to say? I mean, it's a hamstring injury, so I'm not sure. Can you put him on the? If he goes on the PUP, again, he won't take up a roster spot. But do you think he's this year's Cameron Latou? That's for both of y'all. Both of y'all could take a stab at that.
It's possible. It's possible, but like Cam kind of like didn't even. They were kind of like. It sounded to me like they were kind of like not too happy with that pick.
Like he looking good in practice. So
yeah, but then like when Kyle was talking about, he said like certain times where he just sounded so disappointed and you know that he needs to focus a little bit more, and you got to know what you're doing in order to get on the field. Things like that Kyle was saying at the time, where you know maybe he's not as locked in on the playbook and doesn't know where he's supposed to be on certain plays or certain formations. And Kyle tends to throw those little gems. So I hope that he's not this year's version of Cam. The stash part of it, yeah, I get that.
That's what I meant.
Right?
Yeah, that's more where I'm going with it. Is this hamstring injury detrimental enough to put him on the season-ending IR? Right. You know, which unless it's a full tear,
right.
I don't think he's designated for the IR. Can you, as a coach, put him on the IR for a hammy? It's got to be a full tear, right?
A torn hammy, yeah.
But can't. Yeah. We know Kyle tends to play some of those games, right? So can he manipulate some of those medical reports to make it look a little more severe than it is? I
felt like Bill Belichick did that and got in trouble. I felt like
he did.
It was for a Tom Brady injury.
Yes.
Like was it that he didn't report the injury or something like that, and he was injured? I think it was something like that.
Yeah, the Falcons just got in trouble for that last year.
Oh, see,
with Bijan.
Yeah, they fucked up my fantasy. Falcons, don't F up my fantasy football this year if I select Bijan.
I don't think they're
Robinson.
going to. They're saying Bijan is going to be the focal point of their
That's what they said last year, and he wasn't. So I'm just saying. Okay. Look, the hamstring injuries it just seems like the hamstring injuries are a little bit of the problem with these fast guys. Jacob Cowing is also suffering a grade 1 hamstring injury. Kyle kind of hinted toward that. He'll be out for the next 10 days. Hence, they signed Frank Darby, wide receiver. So they brought in another guy with Jacob Cowing not being there. Kind of helped take the top off the defense. They got another guy. I think him, depending on the injury and the recovery from the injury, I believe Frank Darby and maybe Danny Gray is going to be battling in camp. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a good battle right there. You know what I mean? It's a pretty damn good battle. Thoughts on Danny Gray. Like, what are your thoughts on Danny Gray? Looks like he's having a pretty solid camp. And then I want to cap this off with Ricky Pearson, who returned to practice today.
Yeah, Danny is somebody that we know and we assumed that was and hopefully my mic is a little bit better, bro.
Yep.
So Danny is someone that we know and assumed that was drafted to kind of more relate to what Trey Lance's strengths were at the time, and it seems like since then, Danny hasn't been able to, crack that spot that we expected him to be at. I want to see it with Danny. I want to see it. I want to see the consistency. I want to be able to see him out on the field and doing what we all expected from day one, man, and just getting the ball and being a playmaker. We'll see. It remains to be seen. He hasn't done much as well in a Niners uniform. There's other players like your Michigan boy who have played a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And, he might have got overlapped a little bit, but there's still opportunity in that wide receiver room, and especially if we don't get this guy right, which I'm sure we'll be talking about at some point.
Brandon Aiyuk, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think I know where you're going.
There's opportunity for Danny Gray to make a splash this year.
Peachy, we got 12 wide receivers currently on the 90-man roster. 12 receivers, more than any position group. It's the largest position group here on the San Francisco 49ers. Largest position group, 49ers. You look at these guys, you got to say Brandon Aiyuk is going to be fine. So that's your top three, Brandon Aiyuk. Now, I'm not asking you to guess how many receivers we're going to pick, but the competition really starts. Chris Conley. I'm going to throw a name there, a veteran name that Kyle Shanahan salivated over.
I know exactly who you're going to say.
Trent Taylor.
Yes.
I need to know Wagwan because Trent is the veteran in the group.
Kyle did more than salivate. I'm just going to leave it at that. Good Lord. Okay.
I mean, he was kind of happy to talk about Trent Taylor.
I'm telling you.
He's a guy you can rely on.
Lit up. I mean, everything. Talking about we're so happy to have him back.
A guy you can rely on. I'm stuck on that. You know what I mean? Which is funny because a healthy Trent Taylor was good in Kyle Shanahan's offense. The healthy one. The healthy version of Trent. So how hard is it going to be for these rookies to make the roster? Let's talk about Ricky Pearsall because Pearsall looked good today. He did not participate in team drills. They will probably try that on tomorrow. So for those that think he was out there in 11-on-11s, nada. He was not out there in those. He did do individual drills. He is slowly returning from a hamstring injury. But, you know, you got the videos out there with him doing the pancake blocking and working on the blocking. There was a drill in a one-on-one situation where I could be wrong. I don't have it. I can't remember who posted it. Where it looked like he struggled to get open against Samuel Womack III, who I forgot about. Like literally.
Yeah.
Did you guys happen to see that clip?
I did not. But Sam's always been a quiet dog.
Especially on press man.
In press man, yeah.
Press man, especially in press, especially up on the line of scrimmage. He's a dog up there. I'm just curious, you know, John Chapman, great friend of ours, great friend, contributor to the show, said the one thing he was worried about when it came to Ricky Pearsall was being able to get open. Today's practice was a little different, and it wasn't just on the offensive line. All right, it wasn't just because the offensive line. It was because receivers could not get open. And so when you look at today's practice report, it was tough. All right. And the offense struggled today. Let's talk about Brock Purdy's 3 interceptions. You know, they're really not that serious. But he did throw 3 of them. He was trying to make some plays. He did have pressure in his face. He threw off the back foot. All the stuff you tell quarterbacks not to do, he did.
Right.
Right. And so how concerned are you about Brock Purdy's mistakes so far in practice without his starting offensive line?
I'm not really concerned yet.
Oh, you put the yet in there. Why you put the yet in there?
Because I mean, so whenever we get Trent out there and then, you know, the O-line starts looking more like a O-line, because right now, like I said, he just doesn't have enough time to set anything, to be able to do whatever, because they're just like rushing past this O-line and just like bowling balls, and they're just going down, and that's all there is to it. When we get Trent back, if the O-line looks like a semblance of an O-line, then I would be more concerned. And then the interceptions that he threw, I think one of them was at a tight end's chest or something like that, or it bounced off a tight end's chest or hands or something. I forgot. But then, and then like him not, you know, like stepping correctly to, you know, get the ball out and that kind of stuff. And I still think that's just because he was just rushed, because like you said, he had a lot of pressure in his face because there was nothing really stopping this defense out there. Which is, you know, why we really need to, you know, get this O-line to looking right.
Okay. Fair, what are your takes on Brock Purdy's play today? Just to put, Peachy talked about the offensive line. And to add more context, Brock Purdy did not have, obviously, Brandon Aiyuk. He didn't have George Kittle. He didn't have Christian McCaffrey. He did have Deebo Samuel out there, who had probably one of the best plays out there.
Yeah. 0 to 10. Worried about Brock Purdy at this point. I'm probably a -7, somewhere around there.
Agreed.
There isn't much to worry about. You can't put a lot of context in it when he's going against. And honestly, for me, I kind of actually get a little more hype that the defense looks good.
Correct.
The defense is playing well. Like that's good to hear, and it's a good testament to what's going on over there, especially with someone else leading them at this point. That's a good sign to me. I look at the other side of it, and Brock is going to be Brock. We don't have anything to worry about. He had one of his 5 weapons out there, and half of the O-line. So I'm not really stressing anything about Brock at this point in the training camp.
Yeah, man, very well said by both of you guys. He's had great camp days. First day with pads. Veterans had the time off. There was no Nick Bosa out there. And mainly, I wouldn't say that he got pressured enough to, throw the ball off or whatever like that. But my thing, the defense was playing really well. I mean, the cornerbacks were really good. Per one of the reports that I read, the wide receivers really could not create any separation. Now, remember, Ricky Pearsall wasn't out there in 11-on-11s either. Yeah. You know who played well today? Josh Dobbs. I want to know from you who is going to be quarterback 2, because Josh Dobbs had a bad practice. Brandon Allen had a great practice, and today Josh Dobbs seemed to have a pretty good practice. This is going to be interesting. I mean, this is kind of like where my money is. Who's going to be quarterback 2, and who's going to be that emergency quarterback, like for the 49ers? We'll go with Fair, then Peachy. I
think the reason they brought Dobbs in is to be that guy. I think that from their perspective, we'll see. But they saw it live and up close, like Josh carving us up. Like, they know what he could do. Kyle probably was over on the other side, like, all right, taking notes. Cool, I like what he's doing here. The ball's getting out quick. He making a decision, and he's getting right to it. Kyle saw it live and direct, and I think that's where the money is right now for Josh to be that number 2.
Peachy.
I agree. I couldn't have said it any better than what he said, too, because that's exactly what I was thinking. 49ers watched what he did to us, the Kyle and the organization. Like, oh, yeah, we need that. So I do believe that he will be number 2.
And I was going to say real quick, too, before, I'm sorry to cut you. Josh also replied to one of my tweets earlier when he first came over, and he has a really good sense of humor. I paused him for something he said, and he was all for it. He was like, oh, I should have caught that. My bad. I'll be better Niners fans. My bad. So I'm like, all right, man. He's already locked in with the nitty gritty culture and what we have going on here. Nice. So yeah, I think that he's gonna be the guy, man. I'm looking forward to seeing him.
I get you. You talked about what he did against us. You got to also talk about he had a game where he threw like 4 interceptions, and it was terrible, and then it was all downhill for him after that. I think that was when he got to Minnesota. I just feel like certain quarterbacks fit certain situations depending on what they're asking you to do. Right. I think one of the main reasons why they brought him in here was his ability to run the scout team, to be able to be mobile, to move around, to keep the defenses on their toes, to keep them playing honest, to keep finding ways to contain mobile quarterbacks. Because the 49ers have to still deal with Kyler Murray twice a year. Yep. They got to deal with some of these mobile quarterbacks. So I think that's another reason why they brought him in. Also because he's just a really smart guy. But as far as being that QB2, I think the battle is going to come down to which quarterback plays better in their preseason games. And I think that's who wins the spot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who goes out there, who could command the offense and things like that. And so it's gonna. I think it's hard to determine at this point because they both had really great practices and they both had some really bad practices. It's just weird that they I don't know. It's weird. We moved on from Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold may have been better for this system, but they decided to go a different route. So we'll see what happens. Come the preseason matchups with Sam Darnold and Brandon Allen. But that quarterback two competition is going to be something fair, something to look forward to, especially if they are able to throw to some of the ones and things like that in practice and get a taste of what that's going to be like. So I'm super excited. I did want to talk about some standout plays in practice. And this is per Niners Nation. 3 interceptions. We talked about that or whatnot. They talked about Josh Dobbs making a great play, great throw over the defender to Mason Pline, who is a tight end. He is a undrafted free agent tight end who got some reps today with the second team offense. So he had a big play. Deebo Samuel. And Dobbs threw that touchdown to Jawan Jennings in the end zone today as well. I wanted to point that out. Deebo Samuel, though, he said had the play of the day offensively. He did an end around where he gained a big chunk of yards and a lot of open space. So they're looking to get Deebo back into that form. And he got rocked by Jair Brown. So that's what I like to see. I wonder who laid I don't know if he got rocked, but it was a big hit. I want to know who laid the boom because I said that Deebo would have the biggest hit in camp today on the WayneBreezie show. I want to know if Brown got the best of Deebo on that hit. Somebody that was there, tell me what happened. Tell me who got the best of that hit. I definitely need to know. And then Samuel caught a pass later from Josh Dobbs in traffic on the slant play. Deebo Samuel was probably one of the toughest football players in the NFL. If you guys did not see the Receiver Show on Netflix, please just go watch it. You'll understand what I mean. You'll have a different perspective on Deebo Samuel when you watch that. So trust me. Defensively, though, this is why we're here. The defense, in my opinion, in training camp, always has the edge over the offense because they just have the ability to fly around a little bit more, right? They're not really looking to be in sync. The offense has to fall for rhythm. Defense is reacting, right? Renardo Green, the rookie, was out there. Listen, Florida State. I'm gonna let only Fair can talk about this. Only Fair can talk. It's only fair that Fair gets to talk about Renardo Green. Had a big day at practice. What are your takes on Renardo Green, bro? Because they had him all over the field. They had him outside corner with Travarius Mooney-Ward being out practice today, and they had him in the slot.
Yeah, I think primarily once everyone's healthy, they want him to be in the slot. But that's the best thing about Green, man. He can play all over. And when I say he's a dog, like he only knows one speed. He only knows one version of intensity. He only knows like one path, and that's to go 1,000% at all times. Niners fans are gonna love this guy, man. They really are. I know that a lot of people may not have watched a lot of college, and not everybody pays attention to the college game and who's who until it's draft season. But man, he's gonna be one of those players that you love, man. He fits in perfectly with the Fred Warners and the Greenlaws who play like their hair's on fire. He's that same type of player, that intensity that he brings every day in and out of practice. He don't care what it is. Once the pads are on and the helmet's on, he's going 1,000%, man. And I'm just really excited to see it and solidify that other corner spot that we have that, we run a lot of nickel. He's going to be that guy that's going to be in the slot and pulverizing whoever comes across the middle or whoever's lined up against him, man. Really, really, really excited to see this guy get out there.
New addition, new dog. Big Daddy Niners, I asked, and he delivered. Hey, Breezie, David Lombardi said that Brown hit Deebo, and Deebo laughed at him like that's what he wanted. All right, so Brown probably got the best of him. Cool. But if Deebo laughed it off, it couldn't have been that bad. I love it. Football is back. Peachy, Melissa wants you to talk about Jennings versus Green, your Tennessee, your Volunteer versus the Florida State Seminole. I think you're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. You guys hear me now? All right.
Yes.
So I'm excited about Jennings, and that matchup is really, him going up against Green. I have a lot of hope for Jennings this year. I feel like that he's going to do a whole lot. I feel like he's going to be more involved in this offense than he has been before. And I feel like that he's going to be more than just, third and Juwan. I feel like he's going to be like really, really engrossed in this offense, learning more about the playbook, just getting it all down. As far as Green goes, I think he's really going to be good for this defense. Very, very excited about Green. Like,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. He had he had the PBU on Jennings. Mm-hmm. Look, I don't know how the ball was thrown. Wasn't there. Can't tell you if the ball was placed properly. Right. Could have been an underthrown ball. Could have been an overthrown ball. But I will say that he had the PBU. So that is what it is. He had the PBU. That's the only thing that matters. But I'm taking Jennings all day.
All day.
Sorry, Fair. So hear me out. I'll hear me out. Jennings outside, I might go with Green because Green's technique is too good. Jennings in the slot, I feel like Jennings will win that matchup. I think he could beat just about any DB in the slot.
Any of them.
Big body.
Absolutely.
Big body, great hands, runner, physical.
Hands. Yep. Catches away from his body.
Yes. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a tough matchup for anyone. You have to have somebody with like freaky measurables to lock in with Jennings in the slot, man. That's a tough matchup for 97% of the corners that are playing slot in the league. But I still like Green.
Hey, I'm looking for big things from Green this season. I think he's going to be a great asset to this team. I'm very excited about watching him out there. Absolutely. It's going to be hard for me to see a rookie come on and just be it right away.
Yeah, we haven't seen that on this team except for, what was maybe the exception? Bosa? Fred, but Fred had to work his way in.
Fred had to work his way in.
Yeah, Bosa was like that only one that really came in defense and was lights out.
They rolled out the red carpet for Nick Bosa. They kind of knew he was that dude. And remember, they left him. They didn't double him his rookie year neither. He was feasting.
He was. You couldn't. You had both them DTs.
That's right.
Yeah, bro. We had both of them at the time. You had D Ford on the other side, flying by for the first few games. Yeah. That was that's a tough matchup. And we'll see. But I think that Green has all those intangibles that will get him on the field nice and early. And man.
Who do you think gets on the field out of the rookies defensively first? Do you think Malik Mustafa gets on the field first, or do you think it's going to be Renardo Green? Does Green win the slot spot, or does Malik Mustafa somehow, who's having a hell of a camp, may be the best defender in camp other than Fred Warner?
Yeah. It's weird for me because we need someone from that safety spot to step up and take that. There's an opening there. There's a bigger opportunity there. So I think that's a toss-up, to be honest, man. I think that's one of those where I can't really. It's tough to give you an answer. I think that might be a 50-50 because I still think that Green is going to get early opportunities this season. I know he is. There's no way you can keep that guy off the field. But I also think that Mustafa has the opportunity with the injuries at safety and, people still working themselves back to 100% game speed. And, yeah, it's I'm 50-50 there, to be honest, Breezie.
All right. We got our friend Brian over on Facebook says he's taking Green all day.
Hey.
He's a lockdown corner. He says, no way, bro. In the slot, Green is the whole package. I just don't think anybody can defend Jawan Jennings in the slot. But if Green is the guy, that's what's up. Guess what? He's a 49er, and we got to worry about his ass because he's a 49er.
Right, right. That's a good problem to have.
You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So that's great. You know what I mean? Mustafa is a damn beast. Mustafa, he
Dog, what is that dude's body fat percentage? Like
-0. Like it's -0. Bro, that's the most physically that's like he's just a specimen. He's just a test tube baby. That's what I call it. That's what it is. LeBron James put in a lab and he came out. They was like, yo, we're gonna put 57 abs on him, and you know, he gets 57 abs. Not 58, but 57. It was very specific. Mind you, he returned from the ACL injury in college.
Yep.
I think his mindset is he is full go. He ain't worried about nothing. Oh, man, it's going to be crazy. I think the safety, we have 7 safeties, and that battle is going to be one of the toughest to crack, in my opinion. But will the rookie get the opportunity? It felt like when they asked about those guys, they weren't trying to give away. Like, it could be Jair Brown, could be Talon Hufanga could come back in a week. It could be him. It was just like too many it could be's.
Yeah, but more good problems to have, right?
Great problems.
These guys that are, you know, expected to. I think originally they wanted Huff and they wanted Brown to be back there, but man, that dude looks like a rock. Like, I would not want him hitting me coming across the middle.
I need to see a few things from him during the preseason games.
For sure.
I need to see his angles.
More coverage. Yep.
I need to see him in coverage.
Yep. I'm on the same page.
I'm not crowding him because every safety we get struggles with angles. Rookie season.
Yes, they do. All of them. Huff did too.
Huff did. He still does.
Right.
The angles. He doesn't have the 4.4, 4.3 speed, so he has to take the proper angle, or it's Ghost City. You know, Jair Brown doesn't have that speed either, so it's just like, you know, I need to see them in the game. I need to see when they're asked to play cover 3, sky, cover 3. I need to know if they understand their assignment when they're dropping back in that third deep zone. I need to know. I need to know. I don't know. I know he looked like he could do it, but I just don't know if he can.
Who's that one for you, Breezie, then, like, that? Because I want to know, like, who's that one, like, you know, wild card for you from the defensive side, younger, rookie, second year, third year player that you're expecting to pop this year?
I'm a linebacker by trade, and I'm hoping D. Winters pops the freak. First of all, I hate him. Because what he did to Michigan was disrespectful.
Yeah.
Second of all, I love him because he's now a 49er.
Right.
And if he can grasp, you come on in. Can you come in, or do I gotta add you? I think I gotta add him. So we just add him to the stage, get the 4 box going. We got the 4 square in the building. What's going on? The 4 squares in the building. I'm hoping D. Winters is the next man up. And hear me out. It's a lot because it could be bittersweet. The sweet is he's progressing. The bitter is, damn, I feel like I'm about to cry. The bitter is this may be the end of Dre Greenlaw era.
Oof.
And I'm not ready to move on from Dre Greenlaw.
Nah.
So that's the bittersweet. If he progresses, Greenlaw's going to get a chance to heal. Hopefully he gets the opportunity to come back. This is last year in his deal.
Yeah.
What do you do? That's why Mose, let me pose this question. If you're the Niners, do you buy low on Dre Greenlaw and extend him while he's on a cheaper, he's on the low right now?
Yep.
I mean, business wise, yeah, you make that move. Obviously, I don't want to see that because of what he means. And it sounds like we're saying, listen, we can get him on the cheap now, so let's do that. Mm-hmm. He injured. He ain't going to start the season, so he ain't going to command as much of a dollar as he would. Let's try to lock him up. Business-wise, that makes sense. Like you said, you was like, even thinking about it made you emotional, right? So, for what he's been for this team, with where we selected him and what he's progressed and matured and developed into, it sucks that the injury happened when it happened, which would cause him to not be able to start the season, not be in training camp right now, not be able to continue to add to what he's already been doing. So I mean, it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. It's a smart business decision, but I think it sucks for him as a player because he should be out there commanding top dollar. But
yeah.
Anybody else thoughts on that? I be thinking ahead of the game, like I gotta have an eye looking forward into 2025. We got free agents, obviously. And so I'm looking at Dre Greenlaw. I know he is pushing to come back. He is at training camp. Obviously, he's not practicing. But he'll be on the PUP at the beginning of the season, right. And then they'll reevaluate him week 4. Then he might go on the IR for another 4 weeks, right? And so, and then he'll be one of the guys that they bring back, right? I'm just wondering if from a business perspective, if that makes sense to do it. And see if he bites on it. He can say no. He doesn't have to agree to it, whatever they offer him. Right. It might be. I just hope, what? I hope it's not too low because the Niners are notorious for lowballing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
everybody gets lowball.
That would probably turn him off. He'd probably look at the team and laugh and be like, I'm out of here, But the sweet part is if my guy progresses and D Winters, who you're looking to replace at the weak side, on the weak side, that can be the determining factor. Right.
And I mean, Tatum as well is another guy who is
here we go.
Moving around well.
You know what? Am I
wrong though? Am I wrong?
Hold up. Whenever I gotta preface everybody when I talk about Michigan players. You know what I'm saying? I gotta give everybody else because when I talk about Michigan, but when Fair talks about Florida State players, ain't nobody was thinking about Tatum Bethune, but Fair. You know what I mean? I was. I was.
Yeah. He's the ones they playing well. They are.
His issue to me is going to be, can he play at the speed of the?
He's tweenerish.
Right.
Yeah. He is.
My PlayStation's talking to me again.
And you know what, man? You don't ever hear me bringing up like all the Florida State knows. Like
it ain't many of them.
That came to the Niners. You don't hear me talk about Tank Carradine and like.
You better like not. You're gonna get exiled.
I'm just saying, like I only talk about the ones that are doing something. You know what I mean? But Tatum is he's looking all right so far, man. He's flashing. Again, it's one of those situations where there's a new DC. He's gonna give everybody the opportunity. He knows where the money is, but he also is open more, I think, to giving people opportunities. And let's just see how this all pans out. I think Tatum, even though he's a tweener, the Niners tend to take those players and put them in a spot where it makes sense. Like Fred was a tweener. We're not gonna.
That's true. He was a hybrid.
He was
between
a hybrid. He
safety.
was a safety linebacker guy. Yep. Like he was one of those guys.
But when you say tweener, what is he playing? Safety linebacker?
He can play a bunch of different spots. Like that's the thing. He can play a bunch of different spots. He can play middle. He can rotate outside if you need him to. He's not
one thing
really
I know
well
he could do is hit. I know he can hit.
But that's the thing. He's gonna come down and he's gonna thump.
Yeah. Which if we struggle with missed tackles, I'm about that life.
Yeah.
Fernando, tag me because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So tag me so I can know what you're talking about.
Right.
Oh, here it is. Kyle Juszczyk is tired of hearing how the Niners can't win the big game.
Oh.
He said this on KNBR.
Oof.
All right. If you know anything about football, you realize how many big games we did win in order to put ourselves in those positions. All right, let's start with that part because there's only one big game.
I don't want to hear. I don't. Yeah.
No, we got to do this. This is gritty. There's only one big game. There's only one big game. There's only one game.
One big game, and that's it. I don't give a crap about the other
Come on,
games.
Kyle. We was cool.
I don't care. I don't care.
Kyle, we were cool, Kyle.
Right.
We were cool.
One big game.
I was gonna buy a vest from your wife. Now I want the discount just because you said this dumb shit. There's only one big game. I didn't even get to the rest of what he said.
One big game.
Right. I mean, what is Rick Ross says he's the biggest boss. This is the biggest game we talking about here, Kyle. Kyle, this is the biggest boss. This is the biggest one.
I think okay. Let me finish reading. Winning the NFC Championship when you're down 17 at the halftime, that was winning a really big game.
Respect.
Yeah, that was a big game at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I just hate to hear that narrative. Let me just say this. There's only one big game. It's called the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Right.
The other games is win or go home. So I understand what he's trying to say, but don't use that Harvard bullshit on us.
Yeah,
There's one big game.
Trying to use that.
And that's not even Harvard bullshit. That's community college shit. There's one big game. And that's the game.
Don't bother me.
And he knows that. That's the game the Niners couldn't win because they had to play Patrick Mahomes and the Niner Destroyer. Like, that's what happened. Right? Because you can't. I don't know. I just came up with something at that moment because that's what they did.
It's so crazy because
you know I hate the Chiefs because they really fucked up my mental.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah, dog.
Twice, y'all. Twice.
We literally called Pat Mahomes at his most mortal self this year, like this for the Super Bowl.
She is right. That dude was not a demigod.
His most like mortal self, and we still could not win that game.
Yeah, I didn't watch the Super Bowl again until yesterday. And it wasn't even me like
I don't know why you did that.
Watching the Super Bowl or
I want to know why you did that. Sorry.
I was watching Receiver.
Okay, yeah. That was the second time I seen it. Because I'm like, damn, did Netflix really have to do that? Like I was all in.
Here I said this when I was upstairs, and I've been doing good with my language.
Sorry, I didn't know y'all don't curse anymore. I'll take it back.
Because
I'm about to let one fly. But fuck Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Well, here's why I say that. Not because of what happened in the Super Bowl. He's one of the executive producers on the show. Nigga, you had just signed season 1. Exactly. Why did you have to take another moment and put that in the show and highlight it? Highlight George.
They highlighted the whole game.
They talked to his wife and getting prepared, and Debo getting locked in. By the way, seeing Debo with his son throughout this season,
that was dope.
Bro, that dude loves being a
father.
Dad.
Yeah, for sure.
He loves it. Shout out to all the dads.
Shout out to all the fathers out there.
But he loves being a dad. But yeah, fuck Pat. Because like the way, I'm sure he was in the meeting rooms with the editors and was like, yeah, I want y'all to show this.
Of course.
I want y'all to show that. Because the 2 games before, especially the game versus Detroit with Amon-Ra, they showed the how the game was with them being up and us being
Sure
down and going
did.
into halftime.
Sure did.
Around. And then later on in the episode, you show it the reverse, where we up, where we winning, and then you see them come back, and then they show that final play, and then you see him running into the end zone, picking up the receiver. We're world champs. I'm like, fuck you, Pat.
Word.
I still think there's only one big game. I think those games are big, but you know, every year you suit up, you take it one game at a time. So every game is obviously gonna have big game moments, all that stuff. But to go back to Kyle Juszczyk to try to like brush this off, bro, you know what they meant. You couldn't win the Super Bowl. You want him to say the Super Bowl? Is that what you wanted him to say? You wanted him to say that? To me, that's those fighting words. So you said big game. I love Kyle Juszczyk. I love everybody. But that was kind of weird. I don't even.
It ain't the first weird thing he said.
But my thing is this: is he considered one of the leaders on the team?
Yes. This is not leadership.
He's been there a while. He's like one of the leaders on the team.
Correct.
And I don't want to put this on all the players because I wouldn't put it on all 53 guys. But if he's one of the leaders on the team because of his veteran status, this does beg the question: is this kind of a running sentiment with other players that the Super Bowl wasn't as big of a game as the media or the fans put it? Like, we've had other big games, so like for y'all to say that we haven't won a big game, that's not fair to like.
That's a great question.
Is that the mentality of the team? Is that why we can't win the big game?
Bro, go back and watch the 49ers ante up for this game. It was like another game. I felt like they weren't treating it like it was that game. And then they were I thought they played with their food way too much. It took too long to get going offensively. They needed a trick play, but once you open that up, it should have never stopped.
Right.
Yeah, I look at the other side of that too, though, Breezie. Routines and your normal process is important. If you start adding extra pressure and letting people know within the team and the organization, like they know it's the Super Bowl, you don't never want to change up whatever your routine is for a game. You have to have that same approach because then you start adding that pressure onto yourself. I just know because myself, like that's what I had to put into my kids this year. Like we're playing in a regional championship for the first time in 7 years, and I'm not changing anything from our normal process. We're not adding no extra days of practice. We're not changing anything from what we've been doing that has consistently allowed us to win and get to this point, because that only adds game day pressure. Everybody knows how important of a game it is. The whole world is watching you.
I think more from, and I agree with that. That was dope. But I think their energy was off, is what I'm saying.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
so that's what I meant.
I haven't finished the series, so.
I didn't mean that they should have added an extra practice. They should have ran through a brick wall. They should have did anything out of their norm. It just seemed like their energy was different.
Right.
Because remember, the offense struggled for a long time.
Yes.
Until the Jawan Jennings trick play.
And Lord special team.
Right.
And like Fair makes a great point. You don't want to get too high, but I think with Breezie, to me, we was too low. We was too low. Maybe we wasn't the lowest we've ever been, but we were too low going into that game.
Thought we were mid.
And for me, we had too many instances this year where we started slow and we had to really crank it into overdrive.
Yeah.
We had that in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then we lost Debo, and then we just couldn't get it.
Yeah.
We were in Philly and saw it.
Yes.
The first couple drives, we was like, oh, man, here we go.
See,
but then when it clicked, they put the foot on the gas and didn't let up. And I feel like there were extenuating circumstances. There was that fight on the sideline that was like, okay, then everybody turned up. But then against Green Bay, starting slow. Against Detroit, starting real slow. So it's like we've had too many instances of this. And yes, in 3 out of 4 of those games, it worked out in our favor.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's at that moment, especially getting 2 weeks leading into the Super Bowl, that has to be addressed.
Yes.
And I'm sure they talked about it, but I think when a lot of people put emphasis and focus on Kyle, not only his game calling, but his play calling during the game and managing the game, but his preparation, getting the team prepared. We talk about that, the play in the game where we're in the red zone, close to the red zone. B.A. is wide open in the end zone, but Brock can't set his feet and throw the ball because Chris Jones comes in unblocked. Well, why did that happen? Well, Feliciano was out of the game. Spencer Burford come in, and he wasn't prepared.
Right.
And that's on the coach.
It's not just about getting the 11
coach.
starters on offense and defense prepared in your special teams.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Anybody who puts on shoulder pads and cleats and walks out on that field with a helmet, you have an opportunity to play. We saw Greenlaw go down. We saw Feliciano go down.
Right.
We saw Kittle go down. We saw Debo getting it. At any moment, you are going to be called to go into the game. There's a next man up mentality for a reason in this league.
Yeah.
So why guys are not prepared in the moment?
Right.
I think that's what we're talking about when we say the energy was off.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you're prepared, completely prepared, you walk into that game with the right energy.
Yeah.
Like even for me, like let's just say I was on the roster.
Yeah. All right.
Right? Say I was on the roster. Know what I mean? I'm on the bench.
54.
Yeah. Nah, I'm
You're
waiting
53.
to get. I'm just waiting to get an opportunity. I'm 50. I'm 50.
Okay.
I'm Gary Plummer in it.
Let's go.
Right? I'm just waiting for an opportunity, bro. The moment they call my name to get in the game, I'm going out there not for me, but to do what I need to do
Yes.
to keep
For
this
everybody
team
else.
and
Absolutely.
consistent. And I felt like there were a lot of timid players.
Yes.
I felt like the Greenlaw injury deflated the team.
Yep.
The
I
whole
felt
team.
like, and I don't get it because you got Fred Warner. So how are we deflating? Fred don't let it deflate. But Fred
Fred
can't
got
control.
deflated more than everybody.
That was
Right, and he can't
Fred
control
was
the
flying
mentality of the
outside.
other young guys. Like when Oren Burks came in, it was a wrap.
Dang,
It was a
what do you think-
wrap.
What do you think that like Fred's over there not being able to keep together because he's so upset, and then it just kind of went like the flu. Like
But
it
at the end of
literally
the
just
day,
went
Peachy,
down the
my-
thing where
you're
everybody
right.
was just so upset.
At the end of the day, you can't let your emotions take
Right.
control. You got to go out there and do your fucking job.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was the issue. That's where that's to watch Patrick Mahomes march down the field in overtime like he couldn't do that at all the whole game. And then in overtime, I'm not talking about to bring it up because we're talking about practice, right? So this training camp, this mentality needs to be about being prepared. And they need to focus on if I can't do it, you better be able to do
Right.
it. That's why you're on this team.
That's the
Yeah.
yes.
That's
yes.
why I said
That's
whoever's next in
absolutely right.
line, they need to
Next
be
up.
ready to go. They got to go. George Kittle go down. Eric Sauber, Logan Thomas,
Somebody's gotta be
whoever.
able to have one.
Get your ass in there and do Kittle. Be Kittle. Don't be you. Be Kittle. Like be like
So
they
there's no
modeled it.
drop-off.
Yo, right. And I know everybody's different, and I know everybody got their own styles, but the mentality has to be the same. They got to find a way to get on the
does.
same page and be consistent with having the same mentality. And I think that's how you get over the hump. That's how you win the big game.
Right. Even Kyle, to me, just in the pressers that he's had where people have asked him, about like the mentality of the Super Bowl, like how much is it affecting, the team and everything like that, how are they getting past this to move on to do whatever. And Kyle, just so frustrating. His nonchalant attitude is just like, that's half of the problem. You are too fucking chill. Like you gotta be like hands on. You gotta if this plan ain't working, you gotta go. Cause I kept saying during the Super Bowl, get in your bag, Kyle. Go back in your bag, Kyle. Figure out something, Kyle. So because in that playbook, you gotta have more. You know what I'm saying? Like more
Did you watch-
scenarios, Kyle.
Peachy, did you watch receiver?
Yeah, I watched receiver.
So now you know why Kyle couldn't get in his bag, right?
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
So there's your answer. So Kyle wants to get in his bag.
Yeah.
That George Kittle moment, when I didn't even know George Kittle got injured before when we went to overtime. I totally forgot about that. Mm-hmm. And he had to use Charlie Warner to beat George. To do the George. Yeah. That's when Kyle's like, fuck it. Just gotta run the play. Like whatever happens.
And it was so frustrating because that's my thing. Everybody's
it's because
like,
those players just don't have that same mentality. I'm telling you, man.
I get they don't have the mentality. I get they don't have the skill set. You never really have 2 or 3 George Kittles on your team. You don't have
there ain't 2 of them in the league.
I get it. That's understandable.
But
you also, especially as the coach on this team with roster final decision making, you set this roster up. So the guys that are behind them, you feel like they are capable to do something.
Yep.
Right.
You are an offensive play caller, play designer, one of the best according to many people around the NFL.
Yep.
You should have something.
That's not fair. Because
why not?
Because you still gotta have the players execute, bro. So your rookies and those hold on.
Something that they can execute,
bro. It comes down to trust. It comes down to a whole bunch of shit. Like it's when you got George Kittle out there. I think the trust factor for Kyle Shanahan goes up in the run game and the pass catching game, right?
Yes,
it goes up. When you got to sub that, you might not even be going to the tight end, but you got to remember, bro, we can't sit here and say this shit when in the NFC Championship game, Brock Purdy got hurt. Because the backup fucking tight end was out there and he just didn't block. Literally.
Right.
And so we can't say that.
But you got to give them something to execute because
part of
that argument is you don't put that guy in to block Hassan Reddick.
Bro.
Kittle wasn't hurt. Kittle was in the game and he was on the other side.
He was on the opposite side.
Yeah.
So you don't give that guy.
You can't say that you don't give that guy. His job was to block Hassan Reddick. It could have been any guy. If Kittle would have gave up that block, we'd be having the same conversation.
I would be more.
Nah, bro. The dude got beat. Dude got beat.
I would be more inclined to say Kittle failed his assignment than I am in this one. Did the guy fail his assignment? Yes. You can't give him something that he can't do.
You don't want to set him up for failure.
I don't think he was set up for failure. He been blocking all fucking game. That moment, that one moment, he didn't go far enough outside because Hassan, you know what happened? Hassan Reddick changed up the way he rushed. He lined up further outside.
Yeah.
So he was working until it didn't work, bro. That's not fair. So like on 3 plays, he blocks him. On 1 play, he misses and it gets Brock injured.
I just don't think that would have happened.
That's not fucking failure, bro. That's not failure.
And I don't believe
if you block him, did you hear what the fuck I just said? If he blocked him for 75% of his snaps, and on the one he missed, that's not failure. Unfortunately, he got Brock hurt. So you can't say that he failed. He failed that. He's failed the rep. I mean, we talk about one-on-ones. One-on-ones come in. He ain't gonna win them all. But at the end of the day, it comes down to everybody executing. So Brock should have stepped up in the pocket and threw that ball, opposed to just sitting there like a duck and then boom. Because Brandon Aiyuk was wide. It's always Brandon Aiyuk being wide open. We ever know? Pay this motherfucker. Really how about we just pay Brandon Aiyuk since he's always wide open?
It is.
But I get what you're saying, Mose. But it's like our head coach it's something about him and trust with these guys.
That's true.
And if he's been rocking with his guys all season and they go down at the worst point opportune time, he's got to trust the next guy up. So he puts him out there. Maybe he doesn't run a play for that guy, but he's trusting that particular player is going to do their job and execute it. For example, Spencer Burford, had to come in. He's been starting off and on for the past 2 years. He's a starting right guard. He knows he has to block a man. And for some reason, that just didn't happen.
Yo, I look at it from the other side, right? Coaching, I pay attention to who gets subbed in and who gets subbed out.
Facts.
Like I look, all right, y'all got Burford in. We about to run a stunt.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Show a blitz. I attack those new players that are coming in because they're expecting to just have to do their assignment. But they got to do that plus now because I'm throwing something different that I may not have done all game. And I pay attention to those tendencies as a coach. Like, that's when I go crazy.
If he's been blocking all season,
right?
And he comes in fresh on one play.
Sure does. In the biggest game
here's
ever
the thing
played in his whole entire life.
Yep.
And that's when those times of like you working through stuff and making it a little bit bigger, but some people are able to just lock in.
Here's the kicker though, Fear. Here's the kicker. He didn't even block.
Right.
So I don't know what he was told to do. I've never played offensive line, but I know I gotta block a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally
somebody
has to block one of the best defensive players in the NFL.
Yes.
I just know I gotta block a guy, folks. I don't care who it is. I'm blocking somebody.
Right.
But if 95 is across from me, I don't care if
did they stunt on that play? Was that a stunt? It was a straight up.
They showed like they were bringing more, and everybody bailed, and it was 1-on-1.
It's
but
tough.
I think they shifted the pressure, assuming that it was coming that way.
It was coming that way.
My boy went that way. Spence went to the shift. And
that's what it looked like, Mose and PG. That's exactly what it looked like.
Spence went to the shift, and
I think
no one was there.
He slid the protection, and the only person that thought the protection was sliding was Spencer Burford.
Yeah,
he went. And then there was the free guy. So look, everybody made great points, man. It's just, to relive those moments. We were talking about Kyle. For those that want to know how we even got back here, we were talking about the interview Kyle Juszczyk on KMBR when they asked him about winning the big game, and he didn't like the comment. He didn't like the narrative because he said they had to win some big games to get to the Super Bowl, which is true. But I think he knew what the big game meant, which is. Don't play dumb. We lost the big game. Second time we lost to the same damn team. That's the one we can't win, bro. Same damn QB, same damn head coach. Maybe perhaps we don't play them. We win. I don't know how that works out, but
the AFC gotta figure it out then, man. What the hell are they doing?
Yeah, I'm literally on the AFC to just take them out. Like find some kind.
I still want to beat the Chiefs, y'all. I know what you're saying.
I want them,
but I want
nobody else.
They left a bad taste in my mouth. Look, they literally made me disappear from content creating. Bro.
And see, and when we talk about coaching, this is why I got to put a little bit more on Kyle.
For sure. He's not a scapegoat here.
That last drive.
Where they set up for the field goal?
Andy Reid went to a page that he didn't go to that whole game.
Mm-hmm.
But he went to a page. You know how you have in anything that you're good at, that you good at, fair. I'm going to use you as a perfect example. You get a bunch of beats.
Yep.
You in the studio cooking. But you hear that one beat that it's like, I need this.
Mm-hmm.
I got to have this. I know exactly what I'm going to do to it. Yep. You may have been writing something, penning something, putting something to paper, and you just haven't found the right beat to go with it, to marry the lyrics, what you saying, the cadence, the flow. You haven't found the right one. But you finally get that beat, and you might be thinking something. You might want to write something new. You might be freestyling something, but nothing feels right. But then you go to that book, and you go to that page. You go to that section where no matter what, if I put this on wax, it's fire.
Mm-hmm.
In case of emergency, break glass.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what he went to.
That's why Andy Reid is a better coach than Kyle.
That's what Andy went to. Andy went to that page. And the only thing that we saw from him before was the final play.
I got a little pushback. I got a little pushback. I don't think Andy Reid did anything motherfucking spectacular. He didn't do nothing.
He got yoked up. That's what he did. That was spectacular. He got yoked up.
Hear me out. Great points, but I don't think he did anything spectacular.
Right.
Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes took advantage of the weakness on the 49ers defense.
For sure.
And they did it by going to Travis Kelce a lot after Greenlaw went down. Now, that's not whoa.
It's the sequence.
That's not
how we didn't see a play like, yo, we've never seen that before.
Okay.
But
I just wanted to point that out. I mean, once they got
crazy or like unorthodox that like we've never seen.
Right. But we've seen
the sequence and how he called it and
right,
how
it's all about the timing.
Up.
I mean, you can't say it's all about the timing when the best fucking defender is missing. It's common sense. It's common sense.
I would agree with that. Like if
they took advantage
on the field, that game is completely different.
They took advantage of the crossing routes
once Greenlaw went down.
Yeah, they took advantage of Kelce over the middle. They literally took advantage of it. Aaron Burks looked like the worst fucking 49er of all time.
But it goes back to what I was saying. As a coach,
he's no longer there.
He's not there. That's where I'm going. That's not one of their best 11 guys on that field. That's who I'm going to attack. That's just smart. That's nothing against Oren Burks.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's football 101. You take advantage.
Something complicated as simple as possible. They have a sub in. That's who I'm going to attack all day.
The reason why I asked, did you watch receiver? Because I think in this game, talking about Kyle Shanahan's play calling all year has been let's just say I have a different perspective on his play caller after watching the receiver show. Because I didn't realize how banged up these guys were. Yeah. Especially Deebo Samuel. Yep. I knew he got hurt, but he kept getting re-hurt. Yep. But he kept playing. So I don't know what it was like in 2019. They didn't do this for Deebo. I don't know if he was banged up or whatever. 2020 was the other year we went to the NFC Championship game. 2021, I don't know what it was like for Deebo either, because I did notice that the play calling shifted. They stopped going to him. I do know this year, though, that Deebo was dealing with the shoulder injury, and it just never healed. I'm only giving Kyle a little bit of grace, because his best, I don't give a freak what anybody says, his X factor wasn't he wasn't even at 50%. And Deebo was struggling that whole game, and they kept forcing it to him. Yep. They kept throwing 11 targets is forcing. Like, that's not even the style. But for Kyle Shanahan's offense, a lot of it didn't even make sense. I thought Kyle one time in that game went to that page, Mose, and that's when he developed the play of annexation of Puerto Rico. Like it came out of nowhere. I'm like, yeah, good. He sparked the game. Niners had a lead. Unfortunate things happened. Special teams happened, obviously. And then the defense, I don't think the defense got gassed. I literally think they got their soul sucked out of them when they saw Dre Greenlaw go down on the football field. Yeah. And to say that Fred Warner plays better with Greenlaw on the field, let me just give you the big DUH. Duh. Because he doesn't have to overcompensate and do the other linebacker jobs. Yeah. And whenever he has to do that,
that's true.
He's not a great of a player.
So my whole thing about Super Bowl, and everyone always disagrees with me, and that's fine. I feel like that Kittle was misused in the Super Bowl, and that when we needed Kittle to play like Kelce in the fourth quarter, he was hurt because he got knocked around trying to block throughout the majority of the Super Bowl. And that goes back to my O-line thing. If you sharpen the O-line that Kyle doesn't seem to care about, you don't have to use players like George Kittle.
Peach, it costs money, Peach.
As much
it costs
as you
money.
have to.
That's a great take, but it costs money. It costs two things, Peachy. Money or first-round picks. And you know where the Niners have been drafted in the first round? They haven't had a first round pick since till this year, and then they drafted 31st. You're just not gonna get that talent. Like, you get what I'm saying? And so that's the hardest part. That's why it's hard to address the offensive line. Every off season, we do these drills, and we say we want that offensive lineman, that offensive lineman, and when those offensive linemen go to different teams, and how much money do they get? They get paid. We can't afford the offensive lineman, and that's why we can't address it in the ways you want, because those guys aren't going to be available. They're going to require money. So let's say you go.
I mean,
pick a position.
One of your guys, Jackson Powers Johnson.
Maybe they felt like he wasn't going to develop. Maybe they felt like
he was in a match.
System. It could be. I felt like he was coming off an injury too. Didn't perform at the Senior Bowl. That's a big thing. Like, they need to see that them. He practiced but didn't play.
Yeah,
that's a big factor for the Niners. But yeah, that was one of my guys.
But I mean, what do we do now?
But I don't think
holding out, and apparently the offensive line looks terrible.
Fine, fucking screenplays.
No, the O-line's fine. There's nothing.
Nah, stop being like that. No one said that the offensive line was fine. I said that they can't afford an offensive line. Don't put words in my mouth. I never said that the offensive line was fine.
Your coach is the one that said that he doesn't value it like he values the skill players. So we already know mentally like where
because of the offense that they run.
Line's fine, I guess.
Because they run the type of offense where they get the ball out of the quarterback's hand quick and the offensive line gets out into space. That's why. Mm-hmm. That's why they go after guys with 10-yard splits and things like that. High 10 yards, fast 10-yard splits. That's why we do these drills. We do this every year. What number do we say pay attention to in the combine? The 10-yard splits. Not about the 40 times. How quick they can run the 10-yard and then their shuttle, right? That's what we need to know. How fast can they run 10 yards? Because we got fast guys coming out of the backfield. Can they get down there and block for these guys? Do they have kind of like that same 10-yard split as my playmakers? That's Kyle Shanahan's system. That was, guess whose system that was back in Denver? That was his father's system too. So the value is you get the guy that protects the quarterback. If you get the center, that's the bonus. And then after that, you kind of
fill it in.
You kind of fill it in.
You just go with Trent Williams and other guys, like he said.
But Trent Williams is holding out, so it's not like he's injured. It's not like he's coming from. He's just holding out, and I guarantee you they're gonna get it done. I'm not gonna worry about them getting that done. That's gonna get done. Trent Williams will be a 49er, and if he's not a 49er, it's gonna cost the 49ers $29 million.
Yeah, so it don't make sense for them not to figure it out.
Right. No pun
and now
intended.
is his biggest thing that he wants to restructure and
guarantees,
get more money
bro.
up front?
Trent Williams has zero guarantees left on his
what
contract.
That's what I figured.
Like, I mean, zero.
Yeah, because he's not trying to extend his contract. He don't plan on playing for the next 4 years.
Correct. So
he wants more money up front. Understood.
He needs he wants to have some bread. Looking for a restructure.
Last year, because he said the only reason why he was coming back is because he was trying to break that record.
Yeah.
I don't care why he come back. I just wanted to be a 49er. Mm-hmm. Especially Brock going into his contract year, you figure it out.
So we're going to have to.
And if I'm the Niners, I do extend him. He's here to 2027. Let him be here to 2029 and call it a motherfreaking day.
Yeah.
It's a 2-year extension, 3-year extension.
Give him that signing bonus and call
Give him
it
that signing bonus. He's got his guarantees. Because you got to remember, Trent Williams goes out on the football field. It's costing him $50,000 a day. He makes $100,000 in practice. That's $150,000 that he's kind of like missing out. Right now he's up to $200K, right? Well, what's $250K because it was 5 days of practice, right? $250K, right? If he goes out there and gets injured, bro, he don't get any of that money.
Yeah. But when he does agree, don't they usually waive those costs and stuff like that?
So they can't do it. Okay.
Usually.
So hold on. Per the new CBA,
yeah, they can't do it.
You can't do it on veteran contracts, only on rookie contracts.
Oh wow!
So Brandon Aiyuk, if he missed out, they can forgive that money, but the Niners can't forgive Trent Williams. Now they might make it up as far as paying him more money down the line, but they can't forgive the $58,000 a day. He is fine that, and it's because he's not on a rookie deal. Brandon Aiyuk's still on his 5th-year option, which is technically his rookie deal.
I'll just add it into the signing bonus or something.
So yeah, they'll figure that out.
Yes.
What a great show, man. Like, we're all over the place like we need to be every single week when we do this, man, and we just react. It's, you know, the yelling is back, the screaming is back, the curse words are back, Mose is back, Fair is back, Peachy's back. Nitty Gritty Niners is definitely back. There's only one team that could get us angry and happy at the same damn time. That's the San Francisco 49ers.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's another team in the history of sports that does this. I think everybody suffers from some type of anxiety with the 49ers. Some people probably aren't going to go to as many games because they're scared that the Niners are going to lose the big game. I don't know. It's just weird. But it's good to be back. It's good to have you guys back. Any final thoughts before we dip up out of here?
No, man, just happy to be back. Happy to see y'all, talk to y'all, and be around. And, yeah, man, looking forward to the season. Excited. Think that we got a great team. Once everybody gets signed as they should, have no fear. The checks are going to get cut.
Love it. Mose.
I've seen a lot of video from training camp so far. And I see Melissa in the chat, so she's probably going to love me again after this. Jawan Jennings is balling. Whatever mojo he got from the Super Bowl and how he played in that game,
Yes.
he has carried that over into the offseason, and he brought it with him to training camp. So I'm excited to continue to see his maturation and see what he does. Obviously, we hope we sign B.A. Fair just said it, have no fear, those cuts will get checked. But to have all three of those guys with the way Jawan seems to be playing right now, I'm excited for Jawan. I ain't seen or heard of no drops, so I'm proud. I'm proud of JJ, and I'm be rooting for him for sure this season. But listen,
I'm gonna need him to pluck that ball out of Renardo Green's hands the next time. I'm gonna need him to not allow the PBU. No, I'm just playing. Jawan Jennings is dogging it out.
He's dogging it out.
And he got his contract modes.
Yeah,
like that.
he
That
got
is
that
his
money.
incentives. You know.
Yep.
He went from, all right, if you don't know his story, he went from being a 7th round draft pick to being cut due to COVID, whatever, then brought back as a practice squad candidate and worked out a contract coming off of that, you know, that tender. It's a phenomenal story. And he, hands down, the Niners win that Super Bowl, he's MVP. Like,
for sure.
Yeah,
hands
bro.
down.
For sure.
Hands down.
But man, love to be back. To be back with my family, love to be back with my nitty gritty family. So I'm just excited for what's to come, for sure.
PJ, thank you, Mose.
Glad to be back. Thank you for all the people in the chat for rocking with us
Word.
around this time. Just share the show, you know, and everything like that. Make sure that you get the word out that Nitty Gritty's back. They probably have other shows going on at the same time, but we're glad that you guys stuck with us.
Oh, wow.
And and kicked it with us. We really appreciate it. But this is what it's about. It's about coming together, like Breezie said, you know, like being upset about the 49ers and loving the 49ers at the same time. That's kind of like what this is about, because it's family, and that's what we are. Like, we're all family, and we just appreciate you guys for hanging with us and everything like that. And training camp is still going on, so we'll see what happens. I do agree with Fair that both contracts are going to get done Friday, or like Breezie said, Monday.
I said, okay, hold on. Let's be clear, because we're going to get them to guess. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you, Peachy. Peachy says Trent will be signed on Friday. I'm saying Trent will be signed on Monday. Mose, when will Trent be he's already signed. When will he be at practice? That's the question.
Peachy has Friday.
Yep.
Of this week.
This week.
And you got
2nd,
Monday.
August 5th. Yes.
I'm going to go Tuesday.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, damn. Watch it be Tuesday, too. Worst fucking day ever.
I was going to go there.
It's the greatest day ever, but it would be worst day for me.
Understood. I mean, Wednesday. I don't have
The
other
7th.
days.
Bump it. Now watch
Dwight
it be.
Clark Day, the 7th.
Oh.
I didn't think about that.
Watch it be next Friday, though.
That might be B.A. B.A. might be Dwight Clark Day.
The wide receiver day. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
August 6th.
And I feel like that's why I said I feel like, all right, I'm gonna say Trent on Tuesday, and then BA right after
on Wednesday.
Only because the organization gonna mess with us and re-up Trent first and make us feel like they're not gonna do nothing with BA.
I'm about to text Trent Williams right now, and I'm gonna ask him, please don't do it on August 6th because I need that day off. All right, so okay, I hope he responds. All right, we got August 2nd, 5th, 6th, or 7th. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section. When will Trent be signed or reinstated or whatever? Because he is on that list. So he has to be reinstated, right? He's on that list where he didn't appear. They had to report him, and he's getting fined as we speak. $50K per day. You guys have been a great audience. Shout out to all the members of the Breezie Bunch crew. I appreciate you guys. Feel free, if you're not a member, to join. The chat will be subscribers only. So if this is your first time watching the joint, all you got to do is click on subscribe, and in 5 minutes you will enter the community where they will freaking embrace you if you're a 49er fan. If you're not a 49er fan, good luck.
They will roast you.
Roast or embrace. You got two options. No, they respect other team-based fans as long as they don't cross the line, you know. Yeah. But this is a tough community. They don't play. All right, guys, we'll be back next Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully we'll be breaking the news, talking about Trent's return. But until then, we'll see you next freaking Monday. We love y'all. Keep it nitty gritty always, baby. And we back.
Hey. Breezie, this that Mo's nose. PG, it's about that time. Everybody turn your TVs on. The Mo's nose, Peachy, Breezie, and fair to God. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you nine and tall. We two gorilla, silverback, silver.
You know it's busting the discussion cause we get it in. Every time, you know we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win. The faithful going hard. It's WayneBreezie, Peachy, Mo's nose, and fear to God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, it's the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, it's the line is tall. We outline players up in chalk. Nitty gritty, it's the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, it's the line is tall. Nitty gritty, it's the line is tall.